because I have Wayne Robertson in studio with me, who is a skipper, boat builder, marine surveyor, cyclist, big wave surfer, musician, passionate eco-warrior, and he's just paddled 8,100 kilometers across the ocean to Rio de Janeiro. Welcome, Wayne.
Morning.
Lovely to have you with us. How's it feeling to be back on solid ground?
It's fantastic.
You know, we want to get into why you did this, and I know it's all part of the DOT challenge, which we'll talk about in a short while. But what motivated you to climb onto a small vessel with Braam, Malherbe and row across the ocean? Because here's the growth of this question. If you're a long-distance runner, you'll run the Comrades Marathon to challenge yourself. If you're a yachty, you'll sail to Rio de Janeiro. You do these challenges. Are you a professional rower? Is this something you wanted to do your whole life?
The short version of the answer is I've never rowed a boat in my life before. But the challenge really appealed to me because I buy into the ethos that Braam does. And since we had my daughter, it's become very apparent that we need to really take note of what we are doing to our planet.
Yes.
And I would really like to help in some shape or form to make sure that my daughter and everyone else's has a future.
Okay.
And that was really front of mind why I did this challenge.
And pushed you forward. Braam Malherbe is here. Good morning to you, Braam. Welcome to the show. It's not because he's terribly good looking that you decided to go with him.
No, I've got all the looks.
You've got, okay.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see, I mean...
And I love his modesty.
I was going to say, are you still friends after 92 days?
Well, we had to share a toothbrush for 2.5 months, so yeah.
I'll just qualify that. We did not have to share a toothbrush. Your hands were cramped. You couldn't hold your toothbrush. You dropped it overboard and contributed to the plastic gyre in the South Atlantic Ocean, and I graciously and lovingly loaned you mine.
Thanks, Braam.
Oh,
you're a mate.
That's disgusting. Anyway, it really does. I mean, and we heard a lot on the live videos that we watched on Facebook that somebody on the boat smelled. Had a BO.
Be honest.
Well.
Be honest.
It was a team effort. Put it that way.
Okay, so let's talk about challenges. You're out there in the ocean, and Braam, you're rowing across to Rio de Janeiro. It's not the easiest of things to do. What were some of the biggest challenges you guys faced while you were out there?
For me, trying to hold on to a vision, a deep passion to be of significance and care deeply for the planet is very difficult when there's no one supporting you, excluding yourselves, Guy, and so on. But it's just being in a space where you become, I guess the word is, you actually don't believe in yourself anymore.
Okay.
You don't believe that you can actually achieve it. People are not actually supporting you. I know that's a horrible thing to say on radio and on air.
But like physical support, there's no one there.
Yeah, there's no one there. So it's basically it's basically getting this guy to row more than I row.
Okay.
I think the biggest challenge for me is very simple: sleep deprivation.
Sleep deprivation.
Hugely.
We'll continue the conversation in a short while from now. We've got some buggles for you. Video killed the radio star. It hasn't, just so you know. Still live and loud. One of your favorites?
Yeah, both of us.
8,100 kilometers over 92 days to Rio de Janeiro. If you followed them on Facebook, you'll know it wasn't very easy. So give us an idea, just a little insight into a day in the life of this challenge.
Well, the focus always had to be boat speed. We had to make sure the boat was moving in the direction that we wanted to go, and constantly. And Braam and I rowed shifts of 2 hours each, one 2 hours rowing, 1 2 hours sleeping, washing, cooking, etc., etc. But I think the highlight of each day was at 12 noon where we stopped for 2 hours and we actually made food, which was also a team effort because all the food was made with boiling water and a gas burner. So Braam would have his roles to play and I'd have my roles to play, and it had to be this completely 100% choreographed procedure. And we got it almost right from the beginning, but by the end we could do it almost blindfolded. But the food was very good, and I think the highlight was 12 noon. midday where we
Connecting with each other.
sat in the boat and we made food and we ate and we did the navigation and we discussed ideas about weather and what decisions to take.
Was the weather fairly good most of the way, or out of 92 days, how many days?
80% was cloudy, which caused massive redundancy because we needed, obviously, our boat was basically a small Earth. So without the solar, without light generating power through our solar panels, we couldn't make water, we couldn't eat, shelter, etc.
So it wasn't necessarily about having big waves and bad winds. It's about not having any sunlight.
We had that
not
too.
having any sunlight. Yeah.
Basically everything that nature could throw at us, we had it.
I believe the boat capsized and didn't right because of wind. So you're
Four times.
4 times it capsized. So you're sitting inside that little cabin which looked big enough for me. There's 2 of you in there, upside down.
Yeah, pitch dark.
What the hell goes through your mind?
It's completely disorientating, and of course I don't think people realize how violent a capsize is when you're in big surf. It's basically like shaking a tin can with marbles inside it, and head injury is a big problem. So we had to choreograph that as well and right the boat and in no light because it's pitch dark. You can't see your hand in front of your face. But it's all about staying calm and assessing the situation and taking the next decision to do the next right thing.
You of course have experience as a yachty, as a sailor.
Correct.
And a big wave surfer.
And a big wave surfer. So you were actually excited. You were enjoying it.
I was loving it.
And Braam, was he the one going, what do we do now?
No, not at all. Both of us were very cool, calm and collected throughout the traumas. And Braam, with his experience, it takes a certain kind of mindset to be able to handle situations under stress, and we were both very mature about the tasks at hand, and we just worked as a team constantly and pulled through.
Absolutely sensational. I'm still in awe that you would take on a challenge like this, given that you weren't rowers. I mean, I was saying just as you were arriving, Braam, that most people, if you're a runner, you take on the challenge of the comrades. If you're a sailor, you say, I want to do the Rio de Janeiro. If you're a swimmer, you say, I want to swim to Robben Island. Neither of you were big rowers before.
Wayne is, to his credit, and I just want to say as a quick accolade, what a wonderful asset to have on this epic journey across the Atlantic. But I'd never been across the sea ever in a boat, and I chose to do it in a rowing boat.
100 kilometers.
One of the most remarkable things and saddest things was both Braam and I are extreme animal lovers, and we just happened to have 2 fish that became our friends and our pets for at least 6 weeks on the boat, and we would feed them by hand every day, and it kind of broke the monotony for us in such an amazing way, because you could just put your hand in the water and tap the water and Spot or Raymond would come.
Spot was called Spot, by the way, because he had vertical stripes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Raymond was a remorer. And the greatest thing about Raymond was that he cleans. So we didn't have to clean the hull. The hull was perfectly spotless.
Beautiful.
So we returned the favor and fed him a biltong and drawvorst every day.
I can still see the dry sense of humor that was on the boat is carrying through here. I mean, there must have been puns a day.
It was a laugh a minute.
A laugh a minute.
He got punished quite often.
Oh, stop it now. In terms of mentally, where are you both now? Where are you feeling? How are you feeling? Do you still have feeling in your hand?
Yeah, the feeling's there. There's a lot of blisters and calluses that keep breaking off. But I think to be very, very important to have your listeners understand what happens after an extreme expedition, and very commonly, I'm told by Professor Tim Noakes and others, is that you actually get quite down. It's hit me a little bit quicker than I would have anticipated, but a sense of disillusionment. With no arrogance, people can't understand what Wayne and I have gone through. There's a deep loneliness. There's an incredible space of loss almost for what's going on with the planet, what's going on here. It's not a depressing thing that I'm sharing. It's a hope thing that I'd like to put out there.
I was going to ask, after you did the Great Wall of China run, did you feel the same sort of thing when you got back? I mean, there's adrenaline, there's focus, you put so much time and energy and emotion into this exercise, then it finishes, and now you're back looking at Lion's Head. and
Yeah.
wondering what happened.
Very well put. Well, exactly. Wondering what happened. I won't ever forget, after Peter van Ketz, my other brother and very close friend, when we finished the South Pole race, is getting home at 1 o'clock in the morning, pitch black, and obviously we've been in the light in the Antarctic summer for 27 days. And I sat listening to the drops of water in my fish pond, and I started crying. And I was fine with that. But I guess what I was crying about is how most people live in this thing called the Matrix. And it just goes on, and same old, and we think that's normal. And what's actually normal is to appreciate this finite planet we have, and to do whatever it is in our power, each and every one of us, to be an asset rather than a liability. And sadly, most of us are liabilities, but we can change that.
And we can do that with the DOT challenge, which we'll find out more in a short while. How are you feeling, Wayne?
I'm feeling rather upbeat. I think that this is the beginning of the challenge for me. It's not the end by any means. And I learned so much from this experience, from working with energies and working with the natural rhythm of the earth, where the sun and the moon was our clock. And I really am positive about the future, in that I would like to help people learn and expand their consciousness onto what can be done about our plight.
Excellent. So two varying emotions amongst the two gents. One is feeling particularly positive, the other one is a little bit at sea. See what I did there?
You see, I see what you did there.
As long as you follow each other through life, it should be okay. .org is the website. On Facebook, just search DOT Challenge, do one thing. And of course on Twitter, DOT Challenge, or at Braam Malherbe. If you'd like to find out more, if you'd like to see pictures and videos of what went down. These two amazing gentlemen, Wayne Robertson and Braam Malherbe, have returned home from Rio de Janeiro. They've completed 8,100 kilometers over 92 days. They're the first team to successfully row from Cape Town across the Atlantic Ocean, encountering tankers in the middle of the night, a lack of sunlight, storms, all sorts of mental and physical fatigue. And it is all for one thing. Braam, DOT Challenge. Feed us through that.
The DOT Challenge is a challenge not that Wayne and I have accomplished, but is a challenge to the world, to every single human being on earth. And DOT, very simply, as an acronym, stands for do one thing. Gone are the days of, oh, it's the government's fault. Oh, it's Eskom's fault. Oh, it's someone else's problem. Or, oh, here's my favorite, I'm only one person, I can't make a difference. Very simply, every single one of us can, as Gandhi said, be the change we want to see in the world. We can all do one thing. So, as an example, there are 4 categories in the app, which is going to be relaunched in the next 2 or 3 months with Wayne and I, as we do a roadshow around South Africa with our boat, Mondoro, which means Spirit of the Lion. And the categories are, in no particular order: conservation of our biodiversity, waste, we are the only species on earth that does not recycle, energy, obviously solar and so on, the carbon emissions, and very importantly, particularly here in Cape Town, water. So those 4 categories. So guys, when you shave in the morning, switch the tap off. Guys and girls, when you brush your teeth, switch the tap off. Shower, don't bath. So it's many small things that incrementally, as Malcolm Gladwell so eloquently put it in his book, The Tipping Point, can make a tipping point. So the goal of Wayne and myself in crossing this ocean only begins now. So when this app is launched, we want 1 million people, which doesn't sound like a big figure, but it's a relatively big figure, in South Africa to do one thing for the planet, and more significantly, to share it, to pay it forward. And when we do the next challenge, which is going around Capricorn, probably 2 to 3 years from now, it's to get 1 billion. So 1 billion to 1 billion, do one thing. Asset, liability, choice is yours.
When can we look out for the app?
Probably 2 to 3 months.
Okay, brilliant. I love that. I'm on board with you, and I know a lot of people that are, and I agree with you. It really is very simple. It's almost like something I was chatting about yesterday, which is finding the joy, and it's thin slices of joy. You just have to enjoy that moment of that first sip of hot coffee and appreciate that, and start appreciating more and more, and you'll build up to a more joyous existence. Same thing, one thin slice of something, whether it's switching off a tap, and you're aiding the planet. So thank you for sharing your message with us this morning. We appreciate it, and I wish you both the best of luck with your tour around South Africa, with your continued headspace. I know that this is going to lead to other phenomenal challenges, which I hope you'll share with us as well here at Magic 828. Got a special song for both of you. Paul McCartney, Hope of Deliverance.
I will always be